everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Babalwa Mcaciso. Welcome to Unfiltered Conversations. Today, I am joined by a beautiful woman, a woman I call my bestie. Her and I have this inside joke where we literally call each other bestie. Don't ask me where that came from, but I'm joined by a beautiful woman, a radio show host, a TV presenter, a fitness bunny now, a mom, a woman that I really look up to that truly does inspire me and a lot of other women out there. We have Jamie Lee Domburg. Welcome to Unfiltered. I'm so
Hey,
happy
bestie.
bestie.
It's so funny. I was sitting in makeup this morning and I was like, my makeup artist, like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to my bestie. It's so funny because when we met the first time, it felt like we had known each other for such a long time, but we had never met. I even met your boys once and I'm like, come hug me. And they were just like, who are you? This is weird. Because that's how I feel the connection is.
Right.
Is it feels like I've known you for such a long time. But thank you for having
It
me.
really feels like that, right? And you are so gorgeous. Thank you so much for coming.
Look who's talking. I thought when I was going to come into studio, you'll have your microphone ready because you are taking. Where is the microphone, girl? Like, shame.
I should have brought the.
You should have brought. That is your thing now. Hey, I feel so sorry for your husband. I feel so sorry for him. When I scroll through your content, I'm like, this poor man. He had no idea what he was signing up for.
I'm actually such a crazy girl. I need to stop because I feel like I have outbursts of just acting wild and crazy, but I feel like you're the same.
No, 100%. But it's the fact that the boys are also in on it. They love seeing you do it. And your husband's face is just everything. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, bless.
He's so annoyed. He's like, Lord, what did I do to this woman?
It's the spice. It keeps the marriage alive, hey?
Yeah, it definitely does keep the marriage alive. And I feel like we just need to live a little in life. We just need to have fun and not take life too seriously.
100%, because as moms and as business owners and everything that we do, everything is always serious. There's always a deadline. There's always something that we have to get ahead of. So sometimes you just need to have fun and let your hair down and sing. And even if you can't sing, put the microphone on and annoy people.
Exactly. Annoy people and just have fun. Yeah. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy to have you here. I just want us to get to know Jamie a little bit, like for the viewers out there and anyone listening in that doesn't know who Jamie is. Who is Jamie? Where was she born? As a kid, please just take us through what were you like growing up?
Oh, that is a great question. Sometimes I don't know who Jamie Lee Domburg is. She is multifaceted. She wears so many hats, being a mom, being in the media space. I've been a TV presenter, a radio presenter, done podcasts, run my own business. But to the core of me, I'm a Jesus girl. I grew up in the church. That was always home for me. Grew up in a place called Steenberg in Retreat, 7945. A lot of people always says, what is 7945? That is the area code. That is where I grew up.
Okay.
And that really was a foundation for me. It's where my community is and the people that still continue to pray for me and for my career and where I'm at in life. But sometimes that all gets,
Muddled up.
It does. It gets muddled up because everyone's expecting a different version of you. But to the core of me, I am just being. I'm a Jesus girl. I'm a Jesus girl through and through. And
sure.
I say that my purpose is always inspiring other people to believe that it doesn't matter where you come from, but that you are constantly just going out there and sharing your light with people.
Yeah. And I feel like touching on that, the world is literally so big, and I feel like one thing that I've seen through your journey is seeing you playing all these different roles and really just believing in yourself at a young age. Like you started your journey in dancing in school and then moved over from dancing. You even went overseas at some point. I was listening to your story the other day and I was like, I can relate to your story so much because I feel like growing up, you've always believed that the world is your oyster and you were just made for so much more. So take me back to your journey in school where you started off as a dancer. I love whenever someone is telling the story, I want to like picture you of like, okay, from dancing, to that. Take me through that. Like, how did your journey of dancing begin, and how did you move from dancing to being a TV show host, waking up their country every day? Yeah. So just take me through that.
It was a crazy journey. Now, some people, as they're growing up, they were always destined for, you could see this one's going to be a doctor. I was always going to be in the entertainment space. My mom
Wow.
knew that. I was busy Monday to Friday, whether it be karate, whether it be gymnastics, I would put myself in everything. My mom said, like,
Wow.
she had no social life because my social life was so busy.
busy.
But dance started in church. I was doing spiritual dancing in church, and then started ballet from a very young age, and then I did hip-hop dancing at one point, but I was always just busy.
Yeah.
I was a theater kid as well at some point, just putting myself into shows. They were looking for extras. I'd put my hand, I'd be like, pick me, like, I want to be an extra. Mom was like, they're not paying you. I was like, it's fine, exposure. Something is going to happen from that. And I think that was always my mindset. I just wanted to get my name out there, even with transitioning into the TV space. So I think grade 10 or grade 11, I had a very bad injury because of my breast. I think
Something
you and
that
I
relate as well a lot.
you know about that, the struggle with being, big chested and picking up a lot of weight. So I kind of stayed away from dancing for a bit, but it was always something that I was so passionate about. But I also needed to understand what was next after dancing, because in my mind at that time, it was like, you need to have a career. You need to make sure that you're sorted, whatever that may look like. So I was about 18 years old. Didn't know what I was going to do, but I always knew that it would be the entertainment or creative space, right?
Sure.
And I had seen this little clip, or this little news clip that was looking for a lifeguard in Dubai. And that was the funny story. I'm just going to fast forward. But I went to Dubai for a year, got stuck into marketing for like a day. It was like this, you had to cross-train for marketing. And I was so bored. I was in the office and I was like, this is not me. I need a stage. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I need out. I need to come home. And Mom's like, come home. I think you need to do speech and drama.
Oh, wow.
Came home, studied speech and drama for 2 years. And even that, I was like, okay, cool. What's the next thing?
Yeah.
Then got caught into going on to cruise ships for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And then I had my son, came home to South Africa, was a broke baby mama. I was like, what am I going to do? All I know is entertainment. I was at rock bottom. I was like, what am I going to do?
Oh, man.
Anyway, and then the opportunity came for me to do Presenter Search on 3, on SABC 3. And I just, again, took that leap of faith. And I love telling the story because it's one of those stories that I'm like, I can't believe I did it at that point. I had no money, by the way. I took my laptop to Cash Crusaders.
There's no way.
And I took that money, and that was my Uber money to go and audition. I was the first person there at the audition.
So emotional.
I was the first person at the audition, and I just had Luca 6 months ago. So I was 10 size bigger, like my neck was still black, like it was a hot mess. I didn't know what a link was, but I was there. I was like, I'm the first one. I want to do it. And I remember the camera crew coming to me like, oh, okay, welcome, come sit down. Now I'm good friends with them. But they got me into the room and like, oh, you're going to do a link. And I was like,
what is a link?
Okay. Joanne Strauss is there, Dalen Oliver, Graham Richards. And they're like, we like you. There's something about you. And then they put the
Who doesn't like you though?
Oh,
such good energy.
Oh, look who's talking. Look who's talking. And they're like, we see something in you, but you need to do a link. And I was like, I don't know what a link is, guys. They're like, how are you coming to audition for? And they're like, we're going to teach you, like, there's something about you, but we want to teach you a few things. And I said, you know what? I'm here. 13 weeks later of learning and, just being alongside all of these industry greats, I got crowned as one of the faces of SABC 3. And to this day, I'm like, that was just the starting point of my career. And I'm still learning and I'm still growing. And I think there's still so much more that I can contribute into the entertainment space. But I'm taking it at my own
Day at a
pace, a
time.
day at a time. It is not a marathon. It is
Mm,
my journey. And again, hoping to inspire more people to do the same. Take that leap of faith.
mm.
Go to cash crusaders if you have to, but just believe in yourself, because no one else is going to believe in yourself
Mm.
the way you do.
Sure, that's so beautiful. And I love the fact that you had that confidence and you were literally like, you know what? This is what I want to do. And I'm literally going to do it and go for it. I feel like we live in a generation where a lot of people are so afraid of making mistakes and so afraid of making a fool out of themselves because on social media, we just see this picture perfect moment and an already made and finished product that people actually don't know what it took for you to get there. Like the people that were seeing you on TV
Mm.
every day, they like see this perfect, made up woman, and they don't know the journey and they don't know the stories, of what it is that made you get there. So take me through the first day that you went to audition. Like, what was going on in your mind? You were like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, how did you feel?
I was so nervous. Like I was literally shaking the entire time. I remember I couldn't string together a sentence,
Mm,
but I thought, I don't want to win this thing. I just want to get my name out there. Someone out there is going to give me the opportunity. They're going to see something
mhm.
in me, or I just want to learn.
That's
For
true.
me, it was like
Yeah.
I had nothing to lose.
Mm,
I didn't know anyone in the South African. Well, I knew people in the South African industry, but it was
yeah.
like I don't want to, ride on their wave. I wanted to kind of just
Mm,
pave my own pathway.
mm.
But it's funny though, because a year before that or prior to that, I would write on Facebook. Facebook used to be my thing. Facebook used to be my my
Outlet.
my outlet and my journal. And I'd be like, one day I am going to be a presenter on SABC 3. And people
Love
would be like, girl, you are so delulu. I used to work at a call center at one point, and I used to tell my friends all the time, guys, one day I'm going to be on TV. One day I'm going to be on radio. And they're like, girl, to this day I'll get messages be like, girl, remember the time that you used to tell us you were going to know these people? Look at you now. I said, the gag
I told
is,
you that.
the gag is, God was there from day one. So it's
Wow.
funny to see, everything. And even just where I started, not knowing what a link was,
Mm,
not, you know, not understanding a lot of things.
mm.
But now, I mean, it's been 6 years that I've been in the industry.
Wow.
I know it's crazy.
Imagine, that's a long time.
It's a long
Yeah.
time, and I've learned so much. And I've made so many great friends. I've met the most incredible people that I can learn from, that
Mm.
I'm inspired by, that has not given up on me, and people that still speak life into me. They're like, I can't wait to see what you're going to do next. And I'm like, the pressure,
Amen.
the pressure. But
Yeah.
it's people that keeps me accountable. They're like, you know what? That's where you started. And that's why I love coming to conversations like this,
Mm,
because so often we're thinking about what's next, but we
mm.
also forget to see how far we've come and where our journey has started, and how much, how much growth there's been.
Mm.
So for me, it's important to sometimes look back, don't always stay there, but also just to realize, you started there and there's still so much more. You
Amen.
just have to speak those things into existence.
I love that. I am a true believer of speaking things into existence. And a lot of people around me usually say that I'm also delulu because I'm like, I'm going to do this. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
crazy girl. Even growing up, like certain things that I would literally say about even social media, because before even knowing that it could be things, I was like, guys, I want to be on ads. I'm going to be on ads.
And
My
look at you
aunt
now.
literally says, you said this when you were a kid, right? And I feel like for anyone watching, never stop believing that you have the power to create your own life and your own narrative. And literally, the power is in the tongue.
100%. But that same, and I tell people this all the time as well, the same power that you speak positive things, the negative things can also remain there. So be mindful of what you're saying.
Mm.
Whether it be a joke, be like, oh, I can't do that. You're going to start believing that. So speak positive things into your life all the time, and be mindful of, the negative things or the jokes the jabs that you throw at yourself. Be like, oh, I can't do it. Or that's not going to happen. It
That's
will happen. It is
sure.
going to happen.
That is so, so, so true. So tell me, you did the morning show, right? And then you left the morning show. Why did you leave? And how was the transition before leaving? I know that you are a person that is always catching on to the next big
Mm.
thing. And you transition from the morning show to radio
Yeah.
now. When did you get to that point of like, okay, TV has been great, but it's time for me to go now and move on to something else?
I think that transition came so quick
Mm,
because I knew that TV wasn't going to be my forever, and to this day I know that there'll be a space and a season for me to go back.
mm,
But I was just getting to a point where it's like, what's next?
mm.
Where to next? And I remember even with radio, I was on TV, and there were so many people saying like, when are you going to radio?
Radio.
You'd be such a great radio host. And I said,
Mm,
when the time is right, when it's my
mm,
time and my season, I'll be able to go into radio. And it so happened that my co-host and I, Raul Demone, Nature Boy,
mm.
we were flying to KZN the weekend. And at the time, radio presenters were also there. And, we were SABC and this was an independent broadcast. So there was no way for us to be together. But again, God,
That is so crazy.
I
God,
was,
it's like,
God is just, and they were there and they're like, oh, would you ever do radio? And I said, I would. So many people have said that I should, go, that be my next step. And a few weeks later, the manager, the talent manager or radio manager called me and said, listen, we actually have been watching you for a while now. I know you've done a couple of demos, but please come in. Within a month, I was doing my own show, did my own show for like a year,
girl.
moved to the drive team for 2 years, and now I'm part of another drive team. So it's been great. I miss TV though. I miss the people.
Mm.
They call me now and again. They're like, hey, are you ready to come
you
back? I'm
coming
like,
back?
waking up at 4 o'clock in
We
the
miss
morning.
your
I
face,
don't
girl.
know,
Look
but
at the space. Yeah.
when the time is right, I will transition back.
Mm.
But I was also just trying to find balance because my son was so young when I started. He was literally 6 weeks when I started in the industry, and then 6 months when I started TV.
Mm.
And so I was really just not. I won't say I wasn't enjoying TV anymore. It was just becoming a lot because it's waking up early. I would have to find balance with having to do everything and then come home at 9 o'clock because I had to do inserts. And
Mm.
I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And I
Yeah.
think I needed to go back to enjoying what I was doing and not it feeling like it was becoming
A job.
a job,
Yeah.
which is what I didn't want to. Because, I mean, going into work that early and having to inspire the nation and greet the nation, you have to be on. And I didn't want to fake it. And
That's
when I wasn't
true.
feeling it anymore, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's time maybe for me to take a step back. And it was the best way. It was a beautiful transition. There's no bad blood. People's like, oh, what is the tea? What is the drama? I'm like, there literally isn't. To this day, we still have such a great relationship. And they're always like, when are you coming back? Are you ready to come back? And I'm like,
I
not yet.
watched the episode that you were leaving, and it was so emotional. I cried. I'm such a
Aw.
cry baby because I was like, you're crying and everyone else is crying. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And Graham was also, it's like,
I saw him 2 weeks ago, and we just hugged each other, and he said, you know what?
Yeah.
I miss you, and I know when it's time for you to come back, you will come back. But it's like, I miss you. Come back.
I think
When
I saw
you ready?
you guys were at the wedding.
At the wedding,
Yes.
So we had a proper party,
Oh.
great to reconnect. And I think that's the beauty of it, you know? You
Yeah.
meet people on your journey that is going to be in your life for such a long time. And I said, if TV brought me that, just the great friendships with all of the guys, with all of the women, and just the starting point, I'm like, I can do anything. And knowing that, they always supporting me whenever I see them at an event or we're covering something together, we're like,
That's so beautiful. Yeah, because you literally wake up every day together. Like you spend most of your time together. You get to know each other and you build such great bonds,
Yeah.
So you did live TV. Girl,
live
tell
TV
me
is
about
live.
that. I know, like, tell me about that. Like, for a person out there, like a young person that is looking to get into TV, what is the thing that people would say they don't know? Like something that you didn't expect on live TV, something that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this,
Names will humble you. If there's one thing that live TV taught me is that names will humble you.
Like people's names or
To this day, the word meteorologist
Oh my.
is a name that, and Le Creuset, right?
Oh yeah, I know I say Lecrisette.
No, that's exactly what happened to me. The first time, so I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but we have the teleprompter, right?
Yes.
And for some reason, one of the boys sat out of this and I had to do it and I cold read. I didn't know what was coming in. And I remember just sitting and I'm like, you can win a liquor set. And the entire room just started laughing. They're like, what did he say? And we also are mic'd. Our producer was like, Jamie, what did he say? And to this day, Le Creuset, meteorologist, because again, I had to do news at one point, cold read because one of the presenters weren't there. So that will always humble me, just no names. And there's this internal joke that we did as well. There was a name, Penelope, but the boys read it Penelope. When I tell you, whenever I see someone's name Penelope, I'm like, you know what? That is a live TV joke because someone called you Penelope on live TV. But I think what I love about live is it's 3 hours, it's high energy, and once it's done, it's done. Whatever mistakes you can't go and, redo or anything, it is what it is. So it's off the cuff. I love the energy of live TV because it's you. It's unfiltered. It's unfiltered. There's no editing, there's no retakes, and you make mistakes. In 3 hours you think you're going to be perfect. No, you are going to make mistakes throughout that. But it was such a fun working environment. We would drag one another all the time. Like, imagine. I would, half of the time they would have to just pan across because I'd be starting a fire in the kitchen because I was making a mess. So there was so many moments that people don't get to see behind the scenes, but we were really a family. Like, it was a good working environment, especially the team that we had and even the new people that came on. Everyone got along and they were not shy of sharing, what they've learned in their journey. I think there were so many times that the show would finish at 9 and myself and Ryle and Graham would sit for 3 hours after just talking about life and what they've learned. And they were so eager to teach me because I was such a newbie, because I was still new in my parenting journey, in so many things, in the entertainment space, teaching me about a rate card or teaching me about rates, where, today everyone wants to gatekeep.
Everyone. I have such a serious problem about gatekeeping, guys.
No, it's we need to have these conversations. We need to have these conversations so that people are aware of just, where you're at. The standards and certain things. And that can't unfortunately be taught all the time. But if you do have access and you do know more and you've been in the industry for a long time, open up the space. Start teaching. It's okay. Stop ordering. Ordering. That word. Yeah, just make space for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that I think your journey has been so beautiful to see. Transition, from dancing to the lifeguard thingy lesson that you're like, actually marketing? Oh no, this is not I'm not meant to be here. It's been so beautiful to see. And the fact that you've been surrounded by people that can pour into your cup and really just impart knowledge, of which it's something that we don't really get to see now. And people are out there, they gatekeep and information. And it's just so beautiful that, you had these people in your life that helped you, tell you that certain things that you didn't know. So I want us to move into your fitness journey now. I've watched you transition and you and I used to talk so much about this. I'd be like, girl, how do you do it? You look so good.
Thank you. Look who's talking.
Amazing. Oh, please, let's leave it to You look so good. Like you went through a weight loss journey and then shortly after you went and you got your breast reduction done. How has that transition been, the whole weight loss thing? Like, how do you get that motivation of like, you know what? I'm getting into this. How did that whole journey start?
So funny enough, it actually started as a dare. It was live TV. We just came back from our holiday break. Myself and one of my co-hosts, Katlego, was on the show. And on Twitter at the time, there was like a hashtag fetch your body or summer goals, something like that. And I was like, okay, I see the girls out there doing their thing. And he looked at me on live TV, by the way. He's like, would you ever do this? And at that point, I was probably around 83 kgs. I had my son and I was trying all these fad diets, but nothing was working because obviously I didn't know better. And so I thought, if you were starving yourself, if you're cutting out certain things, I would reach my body weight. But nothing was changing on the scale. I was like, I'm doing all of these things. Like, what is happening? And nothing changed. And then he obviously had this we had this conversation on live television. I'm like, I can't back down now because all these people are watching.
Watching
So
you?
I need to commit. And again, I went the fad. I cut out rice, sugar, everything. And I was starting to look good, but it didn't feel good because it wasn't sustainable. You know, I wasn't doing it
Nutrition
the healthy, but
also,
I
yeah.
was doing absolutely nothing. And we were going into lockdown. So that was the beginning of 2019. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
beginning of 2019. If I'm not mistaken, you know the dates.
2019, 2020, yeah.
2019, 2020, around there.
Yes.
I think 2020, yeah.
Mm.
And then we were going into lockdown, and myself and Raldo Morne had this conversation. He's like, hey, I heard you are, on this wellness journey. And he said, what are you doing? I said, oh, I am doing this. And he said, that's unsustainable. And he said, you know what? I want to help you. I want to just help you with maybe understanding nutrition better. Start a food diary and start about what you're eating and putting into your body. And I'm not just talking about food, but what you're drinking. So start with your food diary, write down what you're consuming. He even had me write down people I'm exposing myself to, because all of that things make sense, just like who you having a conversation with. Is this people that is going to be on this journey with you for a long time? Now looking back, I'm like, this was deep so early on in my journey. But I started with my food diary, writing down what I was putting in, whether it be sources, whether it be water, whether it be my, just every
Anything,
intake.
yeah.
And he said, let's start there. I really want to help you create this sustainable lifestyle as opposed to doing this quick and easy fix. Because you're going to look great after a couple of weeks, but then what's happening?
Go back.
And understanding your body. And that was just really where it started. I became so obsessed with being the best version of myself because then other people started to notice that I was feeling good. And then I started to feel good. And it wasn't just about what was happening on the scale. I felt good in my body. I felt good that other women were reaching out to me like, how do I start? Where do I start? And that just really started everything for me. I enjoyed moving my body, and I still do. I became so active. And it just changed my relationships with food, with people. And it's still, to this day, one of the best decisions I've ever done in my life to start that. And, there's a season where I'm not as obsessed with
Like
going
exercising,
hard every day.
calorie thingy,
All of that.
and
But it's all about a lifestyle for me.
Absolutely.
It's about, do I want this? Yes, I do. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to run myself and my son. We do so many active things together, and I didn't want to be there. I'm like, ugh, I'm tired. I'm out of breath. So hold on. No. You have to be on it. So we spend time in the mountain together. We're always doing a trail, or going to the beach. So it's been a good journey.
I used to watch your I don't know if you still do them a lot, the mountain, like you hiking up trails, reviews, and
I haven't done that in a hot minute because it's
been cold.
It's been cold. It's been cold.
Very cold.
Besides being cold, it's just been so unsafe. There's just so many things happening on the mountain right now. So I'm always having to go with a group of people, and then obviously having to do their schedule and my schedule. So it's difficult. But any opportunity, especially now that it's summer again and the sun will be out a bit earlier, so I can go out. Definitely. We've promised to one another.
Yes,
we've promised. We'll take the boys as well, and we'll do a nice little route and do sunrise.
They'll definitely love that.
They will.
I love the fact that you said you wanted to make this a lifestyle and not just like a quick fix. I want to get my summer body ready, which I feel like a lot of women now are very much into, let's get that summer body. And then when you get that summer body, you still have those bad habits. So it's all about like the habits, getting the right habits, you know, because I feel like even for me, I'm always like, ooh, let's lose the weight. And then when I lose the weight, I'm back at like my bad eating habits, of which the mental state was not really just to have it as a lifestyle. It's mainly about looking a certain way, and then once you look that way, you fall back into the bad habits, which is something that I'm still learning. You also mentioned recently in a video that I was watching that you stopped drinking alcohol as well as part of this lifestyle journey that you were on.
Yeah.
When did you stop, and what was it that made you like, okay, I'm stopping now? Because I'm seeing a lot of young people, even on social media, sharing about their sobriety, of which it was something that it was like a no, why would you do that
Do
kind
that.
of thing? But now it's becoming a fashionable thing
Mm.
of which I admire so much, in so many young people's lives that are like, I'm actually putting alcohol down.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink anymore. What was that like for you? Take me through that and the decision that you decided, okay, let me stop now. Yeah.
That was also a different season in my life. I needed to be sober. I will say though that I have had a drink again after that, and I don't think I like relapsed and was this
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was getting so dependent on alcohol. It became
Mm,
my thing,
mm,
where I needed to go out and to be social. I needed to have a drink,
mm.
and I thought, why am I drinking? Why
Yeah.
why am I doing this to myself?
Mm,
Also, when I was starting my wellness journey, it was empty calories for me. I'm like, I'm drinking and I'm not feeling great. I can't wake up for a hike in the morning. And I just didn't like
mm.
the version of who I was when I was drunk. I'm a social person. I'm an extrovert by nature.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't need that alcohol to do that
Mm,
for me.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and our industry, we always going out. There's always a dinner
Event.
party. There's always an event, and there's
Right.
always alcohol. And it was just like,
Yeah.
I was not remembering conversations that I had the night before, and people would be like, "Oh, you did this," and I'm like, "Oh, embarrassing! Like I don't remember any of this." And I said, "You know what?
I know the feeling.
And
You're like,
sometimes it's cute, sometimes it's cute, but sometimes I'm just like, no, this is not how I want to be remembered."
yeah, I get
And
that.
it wasn't a crazy night out. It was just that come to Jesus moment, I guess, where it was like,
Oh,
I want to be sober. I want to go through life and maybe that season of life
mm,
with not always being dependent on it. And it was honestly the
yeah.
best decision of my life. I went 3 years without it
Oh,
before I had a drink.
yeah.
And even when I had that drink, it was a big decision for me. I'm like, I
Let me
really
actually
just
have a
I
drink.
really just want to have a drink
Yeah.
and enjoy it and not feel guilty and not go
Mm,
over my limit or not
I
feel
love
a certain
that.
type of way.
Yeah.
And I did it. And to this day, I'm still mindful of it. I won't go out like, whoa,
Yeah.
balls to the wall.
I love
I
that.
can enjoy a drink.
Yeah. I love that. I think I'm also on the same, I share the same sentiments now, where I'm on a break now for like a month. So my husband and I usually take a break throughout the year. He does 3 months. I would do like a month. And I think whenever I do take those breaks, it's always like, ooh, I don't like my relationship with alcohol
Mm,
now. So maybe let me just take a break because I enjoy having a drink casually, but I never wanted to be at a place where I'm like, oh, what did I say last night? Oh my God. Like, I don't remember, I went over my limit.
mm,
Like, I think everything in moderation is good,
100%
like it's not bad if you decide to have a few drinks, as long as you are the one in control
control.
at the end of the day where you're like, let me call it a day. I've had enough now.
Mm-mm.
Let me actually stop, and whenever I do take those breaks, it's because I want to go back to that whole thing of like, I'm going to have a glass of wine, I'm going to have 2 glasses, and
Mm.
then I'll stop. I never want to be in a place whereby we're going out. I need to
Need
have
to have it.
that catalyst in my body that's gonna.
I get you.
So I
I get you.
love that.
And to your point, I'm seeing so many people shift away from that now and becoming a bit more sober minded. And I think
Mm,
it's great that people are aware. I think it's just about being aware and always just touching base with where you are and with who you
mm,
are
that's
and
true.
saying, you know what? I do, whether it be a month break, whether it be 3 years, whether you me and go extreme and say, you know what, I'm never doing alcohol again.
Mm,
It's okay. Whatever season you're in,
yeah.
sometimes it's okay just to take a step back and say, what, in this, where I'm at right now,
Mm,
I just don't want to do alcohol.
yeah.
And that's okay.
Sure, I love that. So then you recently did your breast
I
reduction.
did.
Girl, I went for my consultation, by the
No,
way.
I know.
Oh, your
My
doctor did
my doctor
tell
did
you.
say, he's like, oh, you got
Yeah.
quite a few people that came in after you shared. And I said, no,
Girl,
I want people to do it.
I know, right? Because I feel like it really just creates a certain level of confidence. It boosts your confidence, Because a lot of people don't know. Like for people that are big busted, boobs really do get in the way of things. From clothing to exercising to a lot of things.
A lot of
I
things,
feel
a
like
lot
you
of,
can't
and
do a
it's
lot.
bras are expensive. Like
They are
no one
so
speaks about
expensive.
how expensive bras are, and we need it every day. But and then it's the cross my heart, and it's the no, it was just not cute.
It's not.
And also, you know this with exercising, the more tiny you become at your bottom, the more heavier you look
Heavier.
at the
Yeah.
top. And we can't just wear a sports top, or I've always just wanted to wear jeans and a nice white t-shirt, but then everything always looks so bulky and so big, and it was just, I was not having it.
Yeah.
But it was something that I've always wanted to do since I was 16 years old when I had, that incident with dancing. I really wanted to do my breast. But at the time, I didn't know how to lose weight. I was going to go through, the government route. And I went to a Grooteskiel hospital, even had letters and everything.
Alright.
And yeah, so you can actually do it through the government, but there's a long waiting list.
Okay.
And so at that point, I was about to start my career and I was traveling. I was,
Not in the position to
not
be
in the position to do
waiting.
it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to lose weight. And so I said, oh, one day when I'm done with having kids and whatever. And then I just never had the opportunity until last year. I was again looking. I said, I really want to do my breast. I had probably researched so many surgeons in Cape Town,
Wow.
in South Africa, and I just didn't find the person for me until I had a conversation with my partner at the time, his mum. She had done her surgery, and she said, I have the
Person.
I have the perfect person for you.
Mm.
Met him for my consultation, and
He's amazing.
he's amazing.
He is really lovely.
He's so lovely. And he said to me, but I didn't just do my breast, I had the full mommy makeover surgery.
Nice.
So he was like, and this skin on your tummy? I
That's
said,
what he did to me too. And he's like, what about this?
and I said, oh, well, I lost weight and I had no son. And it's like, are you going to have more kids? I said, in Uncle Cyril's economy. Absolutely not. And he said, so why didn't you just do everything? He said, you're going to hate me for the first 3 days. In any case, do your
Do
entire
it.
body. And I said, well, okay, let's do it.
Might as
And best decision ever. It was rough. Recovery was brutal. I think I've mentioned this to you before.
Yes,
It
you
was
did.
it was something I would not wish on my worst enemy, just
Sure.
because my body wasn't used to drugs. Like,
Yeah.
they give you morphine and they give you all these opioids, and
They give you a lot of drugs post-surgery, hey? Sorry to cut
no,
you,
go,
but I
go.
recently went for surgery this year, and the drugs they give you can literally, you are out of it because you're in so much pain. And I can imagine if you've done 2 procedures, they have to numb the pain. So they put you on the drugs. And the first day post-surgery, you are like
Out of it. Yeah.
proper out of it.
It's like-
But I loved it.
I loved
I
it
was like,
then. Yes.
pressing them more. Like, I'm in pain.
I remember the nurse told me, whenever you feel pain, just keep pushing for it. And I was like, oh yes, God, I love this. Ooh, what is this high? When I came off from it, when it come down,
Wears off your body.
I said, what is this? Why
You
am I
feel the pain.
You're feeling the pain, and also just the side effects of it was so brutal. But yeah, now that I know better, I will be very mindful if I ever have to undergo surgery again.
Yeah.
But it was rough.
Really? Sure.
Yeah.
And how long did you stay in hospital? Because they cut you for the boobies and the tummy.
I
So
think I did it overnight. I think I did
Okay.
one night, and then I got
Nice.
home, and fortunately, my mom and I had someone help me with my son at the time as well, and also just help me look after everything, because for the first 3 days I couldn't even walk up straight. I was bent over. I was literally walking on crutches, and just like this space for me to move and go to the bathroom and come back. And so it was rough. The first 3 days, I remember telling him, I understand now what you meant, but I have a high pain threshold, so I didn't really feel the pain.
Really?
Didn't feel the pain at all. I just remember just feeling uncomfortable because I wasn't able to stand up.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the pain wasn't bad for me. It was more just the mental clarity and how foggy everything felt
Okay.
because of the medication. And I just remember at one point I was really going through a state of psychosis that I was calling my best friend. I was like, I don't feel okay. I was just constantly crying. I was calling the doctor. The doctor's like, I think you're having a bit of an episode. Let's just monitor it. Try to take everything off. But because I was crashing so hard post
Post.
medication, I booked myself into a mental health facility just for a week to completely detox because I kept trying to explain to them, I
Yeah.
don't know what's wrong with me, but I just couldn't stop crying. I was just crying and thinking, overthinking everything. And it just felt like everything was so heavy.
I'm so
And then when I
sorry.
booked myself in, I said, just give me 2 days. Because my mom used to work at a rehab center and I remember her saying the first 2 days of detox is always the most difficult and most challenging. And that's what I did. I said, let me just detox.
Mm.
Cold turkey for 2 days. And after the third day, I was like, guys, I think
You're fine.
I'm okay, but I think the medication. And they said we couldn't understand what was happening because you were not making sense. I couldn't string together anything. But that was, again, the unfortunate part of the medication and just, my come down. So, and they said, whatever you do, don't ever become a drug addict. You'll be the worst drug addict ever. And I said, got you. I understand.
Mental notes.
Definitely not doing that ever again. But yeah, that was my experience.
Hectic. I feel like our bodies react differently to drugs, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Like some people, they're like, "Ooh, I love
it. It's great for now, but the after effect, not so cute.
Hectic. Because I think for me, whenever I'm medicated, I just want to sleep because I love to sleep in general. So I'm like, oh, leave me alone, and I sleep. But I can totally understand the switch up from like you getting an episode because the meds are so strong. They even say don't drive. Like if ever you are taking certain meds.
Yeah.
Sure. Hectic.
Sure. It was wild. To this day, the period post having my surgery, like the first 2 weeks, feels like such a blur still. There's days where I have to remind myself, oh, that happened. And I was supposed to go back to work, I think a week after.
Yeah.
I took off, I think 3 weeks after. And people was like, we're waiting for an update. Like, I had all these media outlets because I was so open about my journey. All these media outlets, hey, is Jamie ready to I'm like, I'm not okay, leave me alone. They took my mom and my best friend took my phone from me. They said, rest. You need to just, you went through a lot right now. Your body is also just relaxing, getting back into a state. And I wanted to just go. I just thought, it's a surgery,
It's fine. Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? And my body was just like, you need to relax. You need to disconnect. You need to actually just focus on yourself. And I think, ever since the surgery, it's been challenging just to get back to be who I was before. But I'm also having to realize that I'm changing. My body changed. It is lighter.
Yeah.
Good. But it went through a lot, and you just have to hold space for yourself and your body and where you're at.
And as women, I feel like we don't really hold that much space for ourselves. We are so obsessed with being put together a lot of times that we don't want to let go and be fine, because for as long as we've been known, or for as long as we've known, we've always just been told that as a woman, you must be together and whatever, like always look good and this and that. But sometimes you just need to let go.
100%. Sometimes you want to be.
Yeah, literally. You
Yes.
just need to relax and let go, and be in that state of not having things put together.
100%.
Because all our lives, we're always together,
Yeah.
So how long was your recovery then, in total?
I think I know I'm still not fully recovered. It takes about 1.6 months, and it's only been a year now. But I think for the first 6 weeks, you're kind of getting your life back, going back to training, slowly easing yourself into movement. I think I did every 3 months a check-in with my doctor just to make sure everything's good. Am I recovering good internally? Because sometimes you'll feel great and look great on the outside, but there's obviously so many layers and muscles. And because I had an emergency emergency during surgery as well, because I had, I want to say diastasis recti. So, when your
Mm.
abdomen is separated post having kids. So
I
they thought
see.
that it was quite a small little separation, but when they actually opened me up, they realized it was much bigger, and they had to do an
So
emergency suture
I
sew in. So
see.
that was obviously a delay in my recovery as well.
Okay.
Um, and even that, I was like, sometimes you just have to let go and trust that
Mm.
wherever you are right now is exactly where you need to be. I
That's
needed that. I needed that reset. I needed
yeah.
to realize how to slow down. It's not in my control. Your recovery is something totally out of
Out of
control. And
control.
also just
Yeah.
listening to your body, because again, as
Mm.
women, I wanted to go back to
You
work because no
see.
work, no pay. I'm having to
Exactly.
do all these things, but
Mm.
it's okay just to
Breathe.
take a breath, where
Mm.
you are at right now, go back to writing things down, going back to journaling, going back to just
Mm.
understanding you're here right now.
Mm.
How do we get to the next step?
And make peace with the fact that you're
Yeah.
here right now.
Yeah. So recovery was
Sure.
6 weeks, a year, still recovering,
Mm.
still taking it a day at a time, but also just
Mm.
making sure that I'm always checking in to
Okay.
understand where I'm at.
Okay, good. I love that. You look really good.
Thank
I
you.
love your bodies. PG-13. Oh my God. Sure. You mentioned that. Okay, well, not really mention. I know that you have a really good relationship with your mom,
Mhm.
which is so sweet. It's so admiring, actually, to see you and her, have such a beautiful and open relationship. Has it always been that way, or did it come? I know a lot of people build like a close relationship with their moms after having a child. How is your guys' relationship? Has it always been like super tight or?
Always been. My mom has always been, oh, I get emotional just thinking about it. My mom has always been like my biggest cheerleader. She's always
Mm.
been my best friend. I remember just growing up, she was always there.
Mm.
Every dance recital, every karaoke, if there was something that we were doing, for dancing or something, my mom was present. She was just constantly cheering me on
Mm.
or bringing me snacks or making sure that I had my ballet shoes in.
Mm.
And to this day, my friends always said, Jamie, your mom was always there. She'd take, and, being in the working space myself, I'm like, how did you do it? How did you juggle
Mm.
having a career, being present, making sure that I was, fed, looked
Mm.
after, and all these things. But we just have such a great relationship. She's my best friend. She's someone I can speak to about anything and everything. And we have our moments. There's things, because I'm a very modern mom. So I like to challenge her at times. I'll be like, oh, my child is gluten free. She's like, hey, that's she's also very old school. So there's days where she'll be like, your kid
What?
eat gluten.
He's going to
He's
in
going
this
to
house.
in this house. He's eating gluten. What, Vijay? So I always challenge her in
I
those
love
ways.
it.
But I think it's fun. We create like this fun, safe space.
Yeah.
Luke, my son, knows already how to, balance it out between,
Yeah.
if there's certain things he wants, he'll go to Oma, and if there's certain things, he'll come to me.
I love
But I
that.
think she's taught me so much about enjoying where you're at. You can't have it all the time, and also
It's true.
leaning into having that support system, because again, we want to do everything by ourselves, but I know that I have her, and
Mm.
as well as our village,
Mm.
that will drop everything and
Wow.
anything to make sure that my son is always taken care of. They actually fight in the family group as to who's looking after Luca
Luca?
this weekend. I'm like, guys, I'm out of the city. I'm working. They're like, okay, can we have it? Can we have
Oh,
him?
that
And I'm
is
like,
so sweet.
where do you get that?
That's so sweet.
So I'm grateful that she's still around. And I think
Mm.
it's been challenging now because her health has been, just shaky this past few weeks. And
Mm.
even so, that I've been looking at like, what would happen if she's not around? I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing if she wasn't around. So I
I
take
know.
those smallest moments just to always spend time with her, to laugh. She loves
To
social
laugh.
media as well.
I
To laugh.
know.
She loves social media. But now
Always laugh at your guys'
the
videos
girl is
sometimes.
becoming a bit, jazzed a lot, because she doesn't want to do content if it's not paid.
I love it.
She's like,
Yes, girl. I love
am I getting
it.
paid? Who's the brand? I'm like,
She
girl,
needs to get paid. I
girl,
love
can you
that.
relax? We actually need to just have fun.
She's talent.
She, no, she's,
She
she's like,
was.
what are you going to give me? What is the brief?
I love
But no,
it.
I love sharing her with my community and my followers because they love her because she's so real.
Very.
She's unscripted. You can't make it up. She doesn't care about
Yeah.
all the other things. She's just always making sure that I'm happy and I'm still enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And she keeps me grounded.
Mm.
When I get big headed, when I come home and I think that I can't, do gluten now, and she's like, come.
I love that. I love it. I think you can also see it in the way that you carry yourself, that you come from such a grounded, like home environment. And she's played obviously such a huge role into making you the woman that you are today. That there's certain people that you meet in the industry, and because they are a presenter on SABC3. They want to behave in a certain way and they make you feel small. And I feel like you carry so much grace. And whenever someone spends time with you, they don't feel that you carry your titles on your head. And I feel like it comes from the principles that your mother has taught you, which is actually so beautiful to see. I want you to tell us what is your next big thing, because I know that you are a woman on a mission.
I am.
And a woman that just dares to dream, and you inspire so many young women out there. What is it that you feel like, okay, now is the next big thing that Jamie's onto?
I have to be so mindful about what I say because I know it's going to happen. But I'm
Amen.
also putting it out there. I want to be a rich stay-at-home CEO wife. Like,
I love it. I love that.
I want to wake up in the morning
I love
and, my kids are sorted. I want to go to Pilates. I want to come home, cook for my husband.
have a matcha.
Have a matcha, be with my Stanley Cup. Like, that's what I want.
I love it.
But
You receive it. Amen.
Yes. So in a few years' time, we're going to look back and be like, remember the time you said
it.
girl?
Well, we have it on the podcast.
We'll
We'll play that clip when it's happening.
No, but jokes aside, I just always want to be inspiring. I think wherever the next season is, and I don't want to limit God, I think I can have where I want to be. And I think that's been the challenging part of where I'm at right now, because I've always put this into, I've said that I wanted to do TV and I wanted to do radio. And now that I've got these things and I wanted to do a podcast and I did that, and I'm like, Lord, where to next? Because you've answered every single one of my prayers. And I think I just want to be a vessel. Wherever God wants me to go next, I don't have a set plan with what is next, but I'm just like, Lord, use me. Wherever that is, whether it be in my season of confusion of what is next, what is next for Jamie Lee Domburg, I just always want to go out there and inspire and share my light. And if I can inspire one person, I said that's enough for me. So I do want to do a bit more of traveling. I love traveling. That is something I've always wanted to do. So maybe some presenting in the travel space.
Beautiful.
That's definitely something I want to do. And still collaborate with so many beautiful people. I think there's so much on offer for African artists, African creatives. And I just want to work with people that inspire me, that I enjoy being around. Because as in this space, I realize it's so important to build good relationships and good connections. And I'm still building so many great relationships, and to work alongside people that I've dreamed of working alongside is so amazing. So I get excited to just be in certain spaces. So I want to continue that. I just want to always make sure that my cup is full with people that is speaking life into me or having conversations like these. So more of this where I'm just excited and I get to share and I get to learn and just be.
I love that. You're doing amazing, by the way.
Thank
You're
you.
doing exceptionally well in your career. You're an amazing mother and you are an amazing daughter. Thank you so, so much for joining us here today. My one more last ask is, what would be your best advice to any girl that is there listening to you today and is like, I don't know what to do, maybe feeling stuck in their life? What would you say is your best advice to them?
Trust the season of your life. Every season in your life is there for a reason. And where that comes with confusion, let it be and
Mm.
let go and let God, because that season is teaching you something that is going to shape you in a later time, in a later part of your life. But just remember that everything is about timing and season. And if you're not where you are right now, it means that God is preparing you for something bigger and better. So just continue
Amen.
trusting in Him and letting go and letting God.
Amen. Letting go and letting God. Sure, girl.
Ah,
Thank you so, so much.
thank
Your
you for
presence
having
is
me.
definitely light. Thank you for joining this platform and just being willing to be here with us today, with me. Thank you for such a beautiful conversation. You
Thank
know,
you.
I love you best.
I love you, bestie.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so, so much, you guys, for listening in. Until next time, from me to you, much love.